Okay, I've played Jetmir in the past. A couple times, actually. I think it was almost back-to-back last time I played it. It was not mono green, and then it was mono green the second time I played it. And the mono green version was vastly superior. But there's been new cards since it has been played last in my world, so looks like this to me now. There is definitely a lot of cards you can play with Jetmir, like a ton. I want to do a bunch of creatures, like a ton of creatures. I could probably run, honestly, I probably could run Collected Company in here. Always gotta think about your deck list. Does Collected Company fit? And basically every card that's 3 and down is a creature. I think we actually do want Collected Company. Oh shoot, what have I done? What have I done? What do we take out? I'm not going to take Assembled Legion out until it does something. Alright. This is funny to me. It is so slow, and it is probably... Okay, it's not probably. It is really bad, but I want a game where it's just sitting in play and becomes a problem. I need to have that game, so it's going to be there until it works. Nullhide could get a bit annoying. We could probably take this out, honestly. We do have non-creatures. Not a lot of them, but this doesn't, like... It's just a single creature. It doesn't produce more threats or anything, and it's not as funny as Hacktos, so... But yeah, bunch of creatures. Not a lot of creature tokens. I don't have a lot of faith in that. There is things that do make tokens, but for the most part, it's just play a creature feels better. We just need a total of, what is it, 6 or 8? You need 9 creatures for the bottom part. That's not too difficult to accomplish, but who knows. Honestly, even just the 6 one is fine to just play it when you have 6, but we'll see. We will see. I have yet to cast Collected Company. Does this go green? No, it doesn't. That's a problem. That is a problem. So tap this, sack it. There we go. I'm not going to collect a company in response to that. That's a stock up. Wow. Alright. Final Fantasy tomorrow? Really? I thought it was, the 14th. Come on! There's not even a creature. There's not even a creature in here. There's not even a creature. Wow. Unbelievable. Not even a creature in the list of cards there. You have got to be kidding me. Wow. Alright. Not even a creature. 50% creatures. And then my opponent has the perfect answer, of course. Why not? Enduring Innocence. Well, it does technically do something, but it's a little slow. I also would have killed the Overlord. Why did they pitch a card? They could have just cast this. They could have just, like, cast that card. I don't know why they did that. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna play into your stuff. Opponent's just leaving up counter spells. Okay, no punish. But, let's see, I should probably name Jetmir. I don't think Colossus is even that productive here. Of course, I can't kill Uro in time. My opponent's last spell in hand was a counter spell. There it is. Could still be a counter spell, but I cannot afford to play around anything anymore. Oop, can't swing. Can I trade? Technically, yes. Should I trade? I guess. Should I trade commanders? Absolutely. I can recast mine infinitely. Of course, there's draws a card, though. Oh, the cards are already in the game? Hmm. That's funny. I draw literally nothing. I didn't name Cat, so I actually can't cast Brimaz here. Oh, well, they're tapped out, so I can cast Brimaz. Alright. Hakdos is funny, but again, there's a counterspell, so doesn't really accomplish much. Well, I can play it now, and I will swing again. Probably gonna play Boseiju. I'm in no position to get away with naturalizing anything, so. Well, that's a bit unbelievable. I can't cast that, and I can't cast that, so. Opponent plays a land, so they drew a land for the turn. I don't know if that fundamentally changes anything. Yeah, let's them recast their commander. Alright, they need stuff. They drew a land for the turn. Yes! Oh. No way. No way. Haktos killed my Omnath opponent with a full grip of hand. They saw half of their deck. On the play with the best thing in the game, of course. Yep, nothing with that. There's a solid chance I can dash here. Do I dash? I cannot dash, right? Oh, yes I can. Well, I can cast Fable now. I'm gonna cast one of these instead of my opponent's Halfling, but I do have a thing I can do with the mana, so I'll just take that. Because otherwise, yeah. Probably somewhat similar, though. Still would love to draw any land, though. Okay, so now I can play Ragavan. And I can play this. Does Jetmir mainly play tokens? Probably. Probably. Wouldn't be surprised about that, so yeah, I would say so. Let's get rid of you and you. Jetmir, not that excited. I mean, I have to play this, right? And there's no attack, because their thing has reach. I don't believe trading is very efficient either. I don't know, I'm probably just dead. It's mono green. I don't know how to get around this. Alright, well, they didn't kill me, so this turn. They need trample. Craterhoof's already in the graveyard. I beat Ulamog. I do not beat Emrakul. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Alright. Yeah. That tracks. Oh, the One Ring! Oh my... I did beat Ulamog, chat. I did. I said I was gonna beat it if they cast it, and I actually did. I didn't math the attackers, but I was pretty sure I killed them. It was one off. It was one off. So I miscounted. What did they exile? They exiled those two things? Okay, so yeah, that would make sense. I was one off. But I did not count the One Ring. Definitely one of my best draws. Six is strange. Well, I guess I'm playing Roxanne. This looks like a desperation attack? If it's a combat trick, how upset am I? I'm pretty upset if it's a combat trick. And they did leave up mana for an instant, like they are currently right now. I mean, it could be the layer of the Hydra, but I kind of doubt that. I kind of doubt that, honestly. Okay, looks like they didn't have a land, which justifies this attack. I am going to swing with Roxanne, so I should play stuff first. Such as, but not limited to the... let's do Gallagreeters first. And just play this. And then next turn we have pretty spooky Xenagos stuff going on. But I'll trade with, actually, I should poke one of, excuse me, one of these. Let's poke this so they can't double block. That seems like the most efficient thing. Okay, you got it. They double blocked. Wow. Archdruid Charm? I think they would have cast that for a land last turn. Alright, they drew a land for the turn. Could technically find another one as well. That blows up my Overlord. Or Xenagos, actually. It can do either. So we play Minskimbu. And then we play Xenagos? I don't want the Haywire Mite to take it out, though. Let's swing first. I could throw the Overlord at my opponent's face. Oh, wow. Alright. Bro, the toughness is infuriating. Alright. Makes more sense than I had thought. Let's play... Jetmir? Well, no. I think we just play Loot. Do I throw the hamster for one to kill... I think I do, honestly. I think I do this. This also gives Haywire Mite nothing to do except kill Xenagos, obviously. Okay. Skrull's Hive is interesting. Let's put the counters here, because obviously, why wouldn't we? And this is about as good as this card is going to get. Can I do this whenever I want? I never remember. I probably could have played Jetmir this turn, honestly. Oh, that's huge. They didn't use it to, Why did they block like that? If they were going to block with something, I feel like blocking with the Dryad would have been better. You can deal with my Xenagos with that card. And now I have to really read this. Look at the top 6. You reveal a creature less than... Alright, so we can do it at instant speed. My opponent wanted the 6 mana to activate Loot. But that keeps my hamster around. And they drew the land anyway, so definitely feels bad. I don't know if there's any... Oh, they had an answer anyways. They had an answer anyways, Chad. Alright. Fair enough. This also does not... Yeah, it doesn't do that. Alright, what do we got? Spinning the wheel. Kind of... This makes 2 creatures, I guess. Alright, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, we did it. We did it. Well, this is as good as Ragavan gets, so... Oh no, they have Solitude. Come on! Come on, bro! Alright, they didn't use it. I'm sure they will, but they didn't. Oh, it's because they don't have to, chat, that's why. Because my opponent has the perfect answer to everything. Of course. Alright, let's name plant. The power converters on the telephone poles were exploding. Really? Wow. I would never Solitude this. I would never ever Solitude that. That is nuts, but alright. I can kind of see the logic, but I don't. I would never do that. Yeah, now you're kind of feeling the pain of doing what you did. Let's get rid of these two because they're completely uncastable. Alright, that's slightly less bad, I guess. Ooh, I should have played Tajik. Chat, I am not the brightest bulb in the box. Should have played Tajik. What have I done? Well, because I'm not playing it now, I'll just play these. Absolutely should have played Tajik. That is a bunch of dog tokens. Okay. I'm not going to swing with Jetmir or this. Does this exile? It doesn't? Okay. That makes things easy then. I could have just given Jetmir flying, honestly, but I don't know. Putting the counters on Tajik is just a problem because it's indestructible. And my opponent playing their commander next turn, not really doing anything. Yep, it doesn't really... They could put counters on their creatures, but then they can't really swing. I don't think I sacked the Llanowar Elves turn 1. Yeah, we're gonna just cast, we're just gonna cast this. Get red and white. Alright, opponent is interested in ignoring us. Let's play Cabaretti Spaghetti and then play this. Now we got the worst of the 1-drops too. Oh, we got the worst of the 1-drops. Oh my goodness. Slightly the worst one. Alright, so they're just ignoring me, probably because they have a board wipe. Makes sense. We can get Jetmir's Garden to not screw up in the future. And I don't see a reason to cast Ragavan. It just gets hosed by a board wipe, and then I feel pretty bad. I can potentially dash it in the future, assuming I have more turns. What's its plus? Okay, a bit more desperate than I thought they would be. That also doesn't actually do anything. Does it lose being a hamster? No, it doesn't. So we play... Oh shoot, I can't target it. It doesn't have trample or haste anymore. This gains haste? I guess? So... I have to kill this? Alright. That's a pretty good use of Ragavan, especially how it goes back to my hand. I like that. If my hamster dies, I get another hamster too, so... Alright, the hamster did die. So we get another one. I'm gonna just dash Ragavan, probably from here on out, because it's very annoying for my opponent to deal with. Disallow. Well, I can't really use that one now, can I? And I'm not gonna play Jetmir? Actually, maybe I should. I am gonna play Jetmir. Probably should have done it pre-combat. Okay, it looks like they have Wash Away, though. Works out. I can just cast it again. Also, hello, Mellow. Lol. Are they dead? Alright, get wrecked. Wow, I just trampled over a Narset player that had a board wipe. Nice. Minsk and Boo is very annoying. Alright, so this is 8, 9, 10? In that exact scenario, I mean. I could sack my own Pilgrim. Probably the best it's gonna get for me here, yeah. Should I sack my own Pilgrim? I probably should sack my own Pilgrim, because if it dies, I lose the game. This is my best bet. Now we can play the game. Oh look, it's the best dragon in the game, chat. No way. It's the best dragon in the game. And I am not going to do anything about it. There's a special what and what? Special line in the code that gives My Little Pony avatars easier matchup? Oh. Yeah, probably. It would make sense. Alright. Ward 2. Okay. Let's play this. Playing the Grazer doesn't accomplish anything. And we give this protection from red. And then I lose if they get any haste off of their commander. I could have just played Grazer as a blocker, but there's no haste enabler, so I'm not really scared. Alright, well, they obviously found the land. Nothing else would make sense. Okay, never mind. They did not find the land. This does not save them from me swinging again, so that's odd. Oh, yeah, silly me, of course. My bad, chat. Of course it does. Flage, does that change anything? It doesn't have haste. So, not really. I'm gonna play Flage pre-combat here. No, I'm not. We did it, chat. We did it. We beat the 2-minute dragon. Get trampled. Get schmeated. What Nahiri is this? It's the weird one. Okay, that's got a minute to work in it. My right thumb is really messed up. That's why it always cracks so much. You probably hear it crack all the time. My right thumb is just messed up. I broke it as a kid. 55 times. So here's a very good time to play Guardian Project. This is the downside of cards like this. You have to take an entire turn off to cast them, but I feel this game taking more time than like 3 more turns, so I probably can. Alright, Minotithe. Do something. Tragic. Let's not let that be a thing. Alright, Haktos is nice. Can I cast it? I can. Probably should. It named 3. It could have been worse. 4 is the ideal number. Do I play this just to play a creature? I think I do. Is it creatures or artifacts? Both. Oh, it doesn't have haste. Or trample. Not sure why they didn't cast their commander there. Kinda weird. So we set up for a good turn next turn. Haktos has to swing. They didn't cast their commander for a reason. Okay, that's why. I feel like that was not the card I would have exiled. I don't think I'm exiling that, ever. That's a bit odd, actually. 4... I can play Arlen Cord, so I will. And probably just make some doges here. Okay, and then we pass the turn, right? What does this do? I have to read it now. Okay. This has to swing. Haktos is incredibly annoying. This card is hilarious. And they're dead next turn. So they have to do something now, and it has to be really good. Although they could just simply not attack. That also causes a bit of an issue for me. If they just didn't, if they, like, don't attack. Yep. So, exile the token with lifelink, and also trample. That doesn't matter. They get a free chainsaw. Can I defend this? Should I defend it? No, it should not. None of this has lifelink. I do not care about this. Chainsaw kills voice? What does that do here? No, it kills the greeters. Right? Or does it kill birds because it's a flying threat? No, no, you don't want to kill voice. Oh, that just gives me a massive token. Oh, oh no. That's tragic. You never want to kill voice. That is that's the thing you don't want to kill. Okay, so we play this. I suppose it makes sense to play this first. Yep, tapping the bird is whatever. I don't think that's gonna matter. I think this is just super, super lethal here. Haktos is almost lethal on its own, actually. It's like one off for being lethal on its own. Yep. I could not have Menatithed it, right? No, I could not have Menatithed it. I'm pretty sure I couldn't have Menatithed it. I'll have to go back and look. 99% certain. So I can... Is this a cat? No. Opponent does not play their commander? Wow, that's odd. That's actually really odd. So... Here... Really? I was just gonna block with it, so... Okay, I'll take that. Let's get... I don't want to take more damage, but getting a plains is kind of lame. I mean, I just... I'm going to go ahead and say it doesn't matter too much. Alright, yep. Figured as much. It's just a Planeswalker that I'm very likely to untap with. I gotta say, there were a lot of cards in this deck that I thought would be random, like whatever. Oh, it's a creature, it does random stuff. And then Jetmir's this thing you have late game if, you know, you have a bunch of stuff and your opponent isn't doing too good of a job at keeping your board empty, then suddenly Jetmir is a very scary game ender. So the sporadic things in here were very good. Haktos is a lot better than I give it credit for. I almost want to play it again. The last time it wasn't too long ago. It was like, what, a month and a half ago I played it? It's just a really fun commander. I really like what this does. I mean, you're just rolling dice and gambling, you know. If you're a Warhammer 40k fan like me, then this is right up your alley, because all you do is roll dice. But, anyways, not here to talk about that. Jetmir as this side thing to do with the Naya mid-range deck, I'm a huge fan of. I just like what this is doing. I'm not a fan of token strategies. They're just kind of vulnerable, and usually the token cards are extremely low power and all that jazz. But if we play like the quote-unquote best token cards, like Elspeth, I guess actually this card, Battle and whatnot, not the level up card, Caretakers, because we're not all in on tokens, so I don't really care about this card. But I did do a decent job at making tokens. You'd have to really math out if this is worth it, because if you can trigger this every turn, then you should play it. But didn't think that's what we were capable of, so I didn't play it. But yeah, if your opponent ignores you, Jetmir's suddenly scary. If you get hit by a sweeper, there's not a lot of coming back from that. Honestly, it doesn't feel like there is. So that's unfortunate. Just like the last commander, right? Anything that wants to play a lot of creatures on and just hope it's good enough. It's just vulnerable to a sweeper. The what else? I like the top end. I think it's maybe a good mental exercise to think about why you should ever run any card in this game ever, in this format, ever, that costs more than 3. Especially with a commander like this and a strategy like this. All of your cards have to really justify themselves when they're more than 3. And I think a fair amount of these did. I don't believe any of these were wrong. In hindsight, like after playing a bunch of games, I don't know. Maybe Cultivator, because if this doesn't cost 2, it's really, really bad. But there's plenty of opportunity for it to cost 2, and if it doesn't cost 2, then that means you're playing land drops and you're not upset. But it is essentially rampant growth with as a creature. You know, it's on a stick, so I get to get a creature count for Jetmir on top of it just being, you know, a rampant growth. I wasn't playing rampant growth, though, to be honest. We never played Tender Wild Guide. Like, this never entered the battlefield once. In fact, I don't think I even saw this card in any opening hand or drew it at all. I don't think we at any point saw this. It is a 2-mana ramp spell, right? But it has an upside of being a 4-mana ramp spell sometimes. But if the logic is, you know, you don't want to play things that cost more than 4 or more than 3, then like, it's like the opposite of Cultivator. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I like this. Is it better than mono green? I don't think so. I think Jetmir in a mono green shell, after playing Jetmir 3 or 4 times at this point, I'm pretty sure 90% of your deck being green is the best way to play it, which, you know, there's plenty of other commanders that might be more interesting to you at that point, but mono green Jetmir felt really good, and it's not just the take your opponent by surprise aspect of playing mono green. It's also doing everything you want to do anyways. You can make tokens. You can obviously make a ton of fast mana. Have the upside of playing more expensive creatures. You can play a slower game. You have more resilience. It's just green does everything that Jetmir wants you to do, right? You can't play mono red Jetmir. Okay, you can. You can do whatever you want, but let's be real. It's probably not realistic to get away with Jetmir in the command zone mono red, unless you're maybe a bunch of goblin tokens and making a ton of goblins and dragon 1/1s and all that random stuff, dragon fodder, and maybe you can play mono red tokens, but I don't think you can. You can probably play mono white mid-range creatures, sort of like what Delny would like to see, or whatever mid-range, Adeline, right? Some kind of white beatdown thing. Or mono white tokens like Elspeth. You could do that as well, probably. But then you would just play Elspeth instead of this, most likely. But this does have an ability. It is essentially, if you look at it in the way I'm describing, deck lists, it's just a 4-mana overrun, or sometimes, really a 4-mana super mega overrun, +3/+0, double strike trample. Like, it's probably going to kill your opponent the turn you cast it, and that's basically what I want it to do every time I cast it, was just, oh, my opponent's going to die if I cast it, boop. Sometimes it's the only thing to cast, and I think it's fine to just cast it. It's not like that's a bad idea, in my opinion, unless you're stuck on mana and you don't expect to ever get to 6 if it dies. Not that, you're recovering from board wipe anyways, but if you look at it like that, there's a bunch of random goofy things you can do, but if you look at it as this thing that you play in the middle of playing things, this might not be the best list for that, I wouldn't say. Just like, oh, play it when you have 4 mana, and then you continue to play things after, and, you play it and expect to swing with it more than once, or just have it in play for other things to swing more effectively, instead of playing it the turn you want to one-shot your opponent, because it's pretty easy to one-shot your opponent. Now, granted, you have 9 creatures in play. I don't know how amazing it is to then suddenly, like, oh, I have 9 creatures. Surely Jetmir is the reason I killed my opponent with 9 creatures, and not the fact that I had 9 creatures in the first place. But it does push you way over the finish line if you weren't already kind of there. And it turns your smaller creatures into serious threats. So it's not like all these mana dorks are killing my opponent. If 5 of the 9 creatures in play are just 1/1s, then yeah, this looks far more appealing. But, now we're getting back to the mono green side of things. That's why mono green is extremely good with Jetmir, in my opinion. At least when I played it, it was extremely successful, and I can't imagine that has changed. If anything, it's probably gotten better. Like, stuff Molt Tender wasn't in the game last time I did that, and this card is phenomenal. So, and you can probably play this in mono green. You probably can. So, if you want to play a green Jetmir thing, it is viable. But for this list specifically, yeah, I liked it. It was doing interesting things. Naya mid-range is kind of cool. You don't really get to see that ever, right? Usually people look at their commander as this all-in thing. I must now make 1,000,000 tokens because Jetmir says so. I must go super wide every game because Jetmir says so. I don't agree with that. As there's a ton of different angles at having a perspective of what a commander is able to do, and this is one of the more unique ones where it's not all in on any one thing. Its ability is, right, it can't suddenly give your stuff lifelink, or, you're not drawing cards with it. It does one thing, but you can get to that, you can get there in a multitude of ways, a ton of different ways to get to that point, and that's pretty neat. It's like Madraltha with its 300 card dilemma. Like, there's probably even more than that at this point. Like, let's say 400 cards Madraltha could play, and everyone's got their favorite 99 with their Madraltha. Like, oh, look at all the value I get with these cards. I like the value from these cards, but not these ones. That's kind of how I think this should be approached. instead of being like, oh, you clearly always play tokens. Oof, I got an afro hair in my throat. That's what I get for picking my hair when I'm talking. But yeah, so you don't have to do any one thing. I could play Jetmir 5 days in a row and have not much overlap with the cards I play, which is really cool and something that you should pay more attention to when assessing stuff like this. So let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time, which I think apparently is Final Fantasy, so that'll be cool. Or it won't. Who knows? Maybe it'll be miserable. Who knows? We stockpiled gold. Alright, see ya.